This can rewrite the history of the world. Just the information, just the propaganda information. That's where we're headed very quickly. Very quickly. And of course, this will go for any other country. Google is shifting to AI-generated search results, displacing the familiar list of links, and it will rewrite the internet. And it could accelerate the decline of the 30-plus-year-old World Wide Web. This doesn't sound like a big deal at first, Google replacing search results with basically an AI response, but it's much bigger than you realize it is. It will have a massive impact, and it will destroy businesses around the world. And And I'm going to tell you how it's even worse than this article says it is, which this article is saying it's not good. They say a world where Google answers most questions in a single machine voice makes online life more convenient and duller. Well, it's not just duller, but it's actually worse. But let me just show you what it is they mean before I keep going with that article. I looked up what devices Cobalt's, and here is the result, which looks different than Google results used to look like. You'll notice it doesn't show you, it actually says AI overview at the top. It does not show you links. It just shows you a paragraph, and it doesn't say where it's coming from because it's coming from everywhere. It's not actually a link. It is just the AI mind coming up with the answer. I typed in cobalt needed for electronics. The AI overview said cobalt is a critical material used in many modern electronics, including batteries, semiconductors, and smart mobility electronics. Key component in cathodes, blah, blah, blah. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll get some links. But here's the thing, is most people around the world, when we type into Google, we take the first thing we get. And I know that many of you are very smart, and many of you are the type of people that do not take the first thing you get, and you scroll down and look for the outlet that actually you think is better, the outlet that might bring you the actual truth rather than bring you propaganda. But most people do not. Most people are lazy. I, of course, am lazy in many ways. This just doesn't happen to be one of them. But I guess I am lazy on this regard. When I do a search on Google, I generally do not get to the second page of results. I generally find something on the first page, which again is laziness. This can rewrite the history of the world. I'm not sure if you see how important this is and how significantly this changes things, because not only will all the outlets that you and I have come to get our information from, come to appreciate, I post them or try to post most of them on radindiemedia.com, R-A-D-I-N-D-I-E media.com. The reason we created that site was not for money. It's just for for you to have a place that has a lot of awesome outlets. And so if you want to, please check that out. All of those outlets relied heavily on Google searches for years and years. And when Google stopped highlighting them, such as Mint Press and Gray Zone and even Democracy Now!, even though they have some issues, Consortium News and Popular Resistance and all these great outlets, when Google changed their search results, they all lost 60% of their business instantly. And people were not sent to look at Mint Press or these other organizations. I used to work for Mint Press, but Google covers up all this stuff. Well, now Google will be covering up everything by humans. Because imagine, picture this. You work very hard. You're a writer. You work very hard to write an article on cobalt and why it's needed. Or you're a writer and you work very hard to write an article on why Congo's being abused and extracted due to their cobalt. Those articles, Google will not even send people to them, even on like page 5. It'll just be AI answers like this one, which you can't even link to because they come from nowhere. They come from no human. And the more this grows, this article is saying this will eat the internet, because the more this grows, the less there will be humans putting out data at all. It'll just be the AI mind telling us what to believe, what to read, what to know. And that is horrifying. I hope you see how horrifying that is. More importantly, I'll give you an example. You take a topic that the U.S. empire does not want you to know the truth about. So there's a million, right? Basically everything I always talk about is on that list. You take one of those topics. Let's say Nord Stream pipeline. You take Nord Stream pipeline. The U.S. does not want you to know what happened in the Nord Stream pipeline. They don't want you to see Seymour Hersh's article. They don't want you to see my content on it. They don't want you to see so many others who have brought you the reality that the U.S. blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, when people Google it, they'll see a paragraph that tells them immediately and exactly what happened to the Nord Stream pipeline. Okay. That article, where will it get its information? It will be AI generated. Where will it get its information? It will only get its information from the mainstream outlets, the respected outlets, New York Times, CNN, even Fox News, as lunatic as they are. That's where it will get all its information, and it'll put that into a paragraph on the AI generated response, and it'll say, this is the truth. No question. It doesn't say this is 85% likely to be the truth. Just this is the truth. And most people around the world are going to believe that paragraph or that page or whatever it ultimately is. They are not going to ask where it came from. They can't even be told where it came from. The way most AI works, it is so complicated and diffuse and ethereal that even a Google programmer couldn't tell you where the answer about Nord Stream came from. They perhaps, if they knew the programming of the AI, could tell you that it favors, New York Times stuff, but they couldn't tell you actually where it came from. And so we are going to live in a world built on just the information, just the propaganda information. That's where we're headed very quickly, very quickly. Okay, let me go back to this article, which skips all of that. It skips all of this article because it's written by Axios, which is a, mainstream outlet. It does talk about how dangerous this is, but it skips everything about the fact that we will have a propaganda world, even more so than we do already. This week, Google announced the AI overviews rollout across the U.S. That means the world's most popular search engine will answer many or most queries with a paragraph or two written by AI. This system will still relies on web-based information, but it doesn't nourish the creators of that information with users' visits. Publishers and retailers are terrified that this will cut deep into their referral traffic and decimate their businesses. You'll notice that even when someone asks a question, they can often be sold something connected to it, right? You ask, what's the softest sweatshirt material, Google? And lots of times there'll be a bunch of links to buy the softest sweatshirts. Well, that's how retailers make money, right? It's pathetic. It's consumerism, but that's a side point. I don't mean selling anything is pathetic. I just mean consumerism at that level is really out of control. But it means that if you just have an AI block that says, computer says this is answer, all those people lose their jobs. All these businesses are destroyed because these AI answers will never push them, nudge people to go buy a thing connected to their questions. Now, again, consumerism's out of control, but continue from the article. By making it even less inviting for humans to contribute to the web's collective pool of knowledge, Google's summary answers could also leave its own and everyone else's AI tools with less accurate, less timely, and less interesting information. Basically, if they put all the humans writing things out of business, then where will AI get their information? There will be a tiny, tiny bit of information created by humans to even gather from anymore. It's hard to see why people would bother contributing their expertise if their posts don't get visited by seekers of information and instead just become fodder for AI to regurgitate. And this would even heavily harm the garbage mainstream outlets that are doing much better than everybody else because the web funnels people to them. Like right now, someone Googles a topic, probably the top 3 links is going to be New York Times or CNN or something. But with AI generated responses, you're not even going to CNN or New York Times. So it harms them too, which is kind of funny that they're eating themselves. One more note from the article. If Google doesn't manage the decline of the World Wide Web with care, AI could end up not only eating the web, but swallowing its own sustenance. But to me, the biggest point is not said in the article, that we are quickly moving to a world that will never let you use a search engine to find truth. Truth will just not be on search engines. It will just be an AI-generated response that is what the New York Times wants you to believe or what the government wants you to believe. And, of course, this will go for any other country. It doesn't need to just be the U.S. This could be what they do in Russia, what they do in China, where people search and people are just show this is the truth. This one paragraph, it's the truth. And yet the U.S. right now, the U.S. empire probably likes this because Google is the winner of search engines right now, at least outside of China and a few other countries. And so therefore, the U.S. propaganda can perpetuate throughout the world, but can infect, that's a better word, infect the world. So the U.S. empire probably loves this for the moment. as they love Wikipedia because it largely is the U.S. empire's view of the world. If you want a ticket to the live Zoom comedy event, the only performance left is Saturday, June 1st. Laughing all the way to the shitstorm. Opening musical act, Eleanor Goldfield. You can join up, leecamp.simpletix.com, and it's $5, and you'll then get an email. Make sure you put in your correct email because you'll then get an email with the link.